Hey!
This is JJ and Alex.
I made a name for myself, I told you I won't be denied.
As you wrap up your day, it's time to get your fix of the teams you live for and the sports you love. This is JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday to you. Thanks for being with us right here, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, and Jeremiah Jensen. We're back for another 3 to 7 march through the world of sports here.
We're back.
Nobody has it as cool as we do for our jobs right now.
Goodness. Well, you listening right now. And I was just talking to the Culligan guys out in the foyer.
Get to talk to the Water Boys later today, yes.
It's awesome because they're as giddy as all of you listening right now about what's going on in this market when it comes to sports. You have 2 college football teams that are in the top 13 of the college football playoff rankings.
Going to be in
November.
Going to likely be in the top 12 tomorrow.
You have a Utah Jazz team that just won a double overtime thriller with Keontae George hitting a game-winning shot, which should get you should be over the moon if you're a Jazz fan about what you have on that roster.
They're a third of the way to what their wins were last year, basically.
And now the Mammoth have been disappointing lately, but it's early in the season.
Yes.
We've seen them at their best, and I think there's hope and a belief that they're going to get back to being at their best. So you have the NBA, you have the NHL. You have Utah and BYU doing what they're doing in the college football playoffs scenarios and the season. Just thumping teams. What we saw from those teams this weekend was just so much fun, right?
Yes.
And you've got the NFL, which is incredible. It's just such a great time right now if you're a sports fan with everything going on. And we get to talk about it. You're right.
Alex Napolis, our producer, we were talking about, we go, look, I think we forget year on year how different this year is. Like to be able to have the level of success that these teams are having at the highest level that they've been at in the same conference together, a power conference together at the same time. It's a good place to be, man. How was your weekend, JJ? This is when we get to jam for the first time after a few days of not being. Well, I say a few days because we typically part ways on Friday, and then we jam on Mondays, and we do our thing on the weekend. You got to do your TV thing. I got to go do my college football thing. And then guess what? We come back and we sort of jam on stuff. But I haven't talked to you since last Wednesday, man, because
it's been a minute.
We had all those high school football games. Was the Pula interception in the moment that it happened, was that as big? Like, it's one thing to say, that's amazing. I've never seen something like that happen. That's a crazy catch. That's great. When you saw it happen, though, could you have imagined it was going to be the ESPN, the SportsCenter top play of the day? They had him on that night on TV. I told Alex Napolis when we first saw it, I go, that was an NFL. That's a world-class catch. That's not something that you go, well, that's fun for a high school kid.
No.
That would have been amazing at every level that you even imagined. So
100%.
When you saw it happen and you guys were able to react to it, and which was a lot of like mouth open.
Yeah.
A lot of like not talking in the exact moment because it was so unbelievable, but you got to call that thing and witness it as it happened. Your thoughts on that interception compared to, because the rest of the weekend seemed to get kind of swallowed up by that from a national perspective, certainly.
Which was very cool and good for Ken and Pula, good for Utah high school football. There's such great talent here. And obviously him and his brother Jaron are some of that talent. When I saw it initially, I'm up above the bowl. Like what is it, like the third level. And we're calling the game from the top of the bowl. And so that's the distance that I'm seeing it from.
So you're thinking maybe it doesn't get caught.
Well, so I knew it was caught. The throw happens. By the way, it was an incredible throw.
It was a great throw.
If that sensational play is not made, if it's just an average safety coming over and trying to get there, probably doesn't get there in time, probably isn't able to leap that high and to make that kind of a play, that ball would have dropped right in the bucket with that receiver. Skyridge scores an 80-yard touchdown. We're having a different conversation about that game.
Yeah.
And a different team is in a state championship game next Thursday. That's why that play was so important. But in the moment, the throw is made, and it's a big, long throw. It's a deep ball. It's as deep as it gets. And all of a sudden, you see Kennan come over and leap up there, and you see one arm go up, come back in, land, and then I realize he has the ball. And that all happened in a split second.
Yeah.
So we're all watching. If you're watching it on SportsCenter, if you saw the video we supplied them with, we're slowing it down. And when you slow it down, it's like, oh my gosh. Imagine seeing it in real time. It happened like that.
Yes.
Is his athleticism to be able to leap up there, snag it with one hand, and pull it in.
To roll with it. Yeah.
And to roll and never bobbled it. It was insane. So when I first see it, Alex, I am in shock because I'm processing in my brain what I just saw. And I realize it's an interception. So on the call, we have the audio we'll play later is later on. It's us reacting to the replay. The actual call, you hear it, I go, interception. And in my brain, I'm trying to figure out how.
Right.
And in that moment, it was just such a great athletic achievement. You had to process it for a minute. And then you want to go look at it again to see what he actually did. And then you slow it down, you see what he actually did, and it's even more phenomenal. So
crazy. To
have that happen here in this state, on top of everything I just mentioned, we called 6 games in 2 days. It's so much fun. And I hated not being here on the air doing radio with you. But it's that one time a year where we get to go do that.
Yeah.
And it's so great to celebrate high school football in this state, and it's elite. There's really, really good high school football coaches, players, and programs in the state.
Thursday, you and Sly will be back at it again up at Rice Cycle Stadium.
Yep.
So
11 a.m., 2:30 p.m., and 6. The 4A state championship game is the 11 a.m. game that will feature Ridgeline versus Green Canyon, 2 Cache Valley schools. Ridgeline's undefeated, and they might beat – they would give Orem a great game in the 5A state championship game. Let me say that. The 5A state championship game will be at 6 o'clock. That'll be Orem versus Springville, 2 region rivals from Utah County, so an all-Utah County final. And then the 2:30 p.m. 6A championship game will be a rematch between Corner Canyon and Lone Peak. Corner Canyon is a machine. They were unbelievable. They put up 600 yards of total offense on one of the best defenses in the state.
59 points in the semifinal game.
Insane.
Not bad.
Corner Canyon dynasty is still rolling, but the one team that beat them this year was Lone Peak.
Yeah, but
now I don't know if Corner Canyon's going to turn the ball over 4 times again, and that's going to have to happen, but we'll see. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun day on Thursday.
All right, let's kick the show off officially. Welcome to your Monday edition of JJ and Alex as we get you ready here. We got tons to get through. Let's start off with the University of Utah and the blowout, absolute drubbing of the Baylor Bears down in Waco. We knew it was going to be a mess of a place when they got down there, and it delivered. The Baylor Bears are an absolute mess. The only reason Dave Aranda's still got a job is because they still haven't fired the AD yet, I think. Let's kick things off here officially with the cut. Let's jump in right here.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the show as well. Glad to have them on board. They can help you with all your retirement needs. Local trusted financial fiduciaries. All you have to do is go to TrajanWealth.com. That's TRAJAN Wealth.com, Trajan Wealth. All right, let's talk about it. Utah going down to Waco. I mean, if you went back and looked up all of our predictions, Annapolis, between Mitch and I on Football Friday, between all of us on Saturday, I don't think anybody had Utah in the 50s, but we were all kind of 40s to teens, 40s to 20s. I think I was like I was like, you know what? I think they're going to win this thing 38-17. And I think that was low compared to some of the other guesses too. I think Utah going down and beating up Baylor the way that they did was, number one, expected, which also adds to the level of difficulty because people go, dude, you should roll this Baylor team. And then they go down and they do it.
Yeah.
And Baylor, by the way, if you didn't see Sawyer Robertson, I mean, this dude's he's a dude. He throws the ball well.
Well, look at their offensive numbers against that defense.
470 yards of offense, right? They were not unstoppable because obviously it was the stops on defense that they had. It was the pick six.
Baylor had 563 yards of total offense against Utah.
Ooh.
430 in the air. And Utah won 55-28.
Plus, you got Baylor going in. Look, here's why Dave Aranda probably should have been fired this weekend, because it wasn't just that you got beat at home and you gave up 55 points and you guys weren't even in that thing ever. Then you've lost control of your guys and punches are thrown, right? That's like a clear, we don't have control of our program type of a situation, right?
Yeah, he's in trouble.
But Mac Rhodes, the athletic director,
He's in trouble, too.
he's currently on leave, and so they're like, well, who's going to fire Aranda? Are you going to do it? Well, we got to figure out the AD thing first. So it's a mess of a place, but Bird Ficklin goes 6 rushes for 166 yards. You heard me right. 2 of those for a 74-yard run and a 67-yard run. So just with that, you had 141 yards on 2 carries.
Yeah.
Both of those were touchdowns. And the freshman phenom continues to excite. And that Utah running game, I know that everybody, this is exactly what we said was going to happen. They're not going to throw a ball a ton. They're not going to throw the ball a ton until somebody starts stopping the run.
They
and nobody can do it.
8 passes.
Hey. That was like, remember when they beat Colorado?
Still
had
2 touchdown passes. It was effective.
To Bentley and who else?
Wayshawn Parker.
Wayshawn Parker, that's
had
right.
A touchdown catch.
So look, this is a team that right now is rolling. I don't know what to think because as soon as it happens, as soon as Baylor starts struggling, as soon as they couldn't get anything going, as soon as they throw that pick 6 and you're like, oh, this thing's out of control already. I'm as impressed with Utah as I am looking at Baylor going, they are an absolute mess. And so, but this is exactly what you had to do. You've got to prove to the committee, which is what you're doing now the rest of the way. You've got to prove to the committee. You've got to make noise so that the powers that be can see you making those moments happen. It helps, I think, that you have a 5 o'clock kickoff, right? You get a primetime game. You're down there at Baylor. Everybody watches you put up 55 against the Utes. BYU, on the other hand, has to have these late games, and it doesn't help. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a help because half the projections that you read on the Sunday after of where the college football playoff rankings, they're like, half of them haven't even been updated. They're all, and Utah, right, or BYU is leading early against TCU in a late game, and you're like, oh, you guys couldn't even bother to rewrite the stuff before the next Sunday morning because that's what happens.
They went to bed.
So you have Utah having that game at 5 down in Waco mattered, and that team every week has just pushed people around harder and harder, and it really is hard to deny the fact that this team is one of the better teams in the entire West, and if not one of the best teams. Like on a hot streak and teams you don't want to face, put them on the list of teams that you don't want to face if you're anybody in the country right now.
They'll probably be number 12 in the college football playoff rankings Tuesday. We'll see. But that's elite. You're one of the best. You're being considered for the college football playoff. It's a shame that they don't have another top 25 matchup because it would be interesting to see where the team is right now, how much improvement they've shown, or how would Texas Tech fare against this offense now? The way it is being run. That's what I'd love to see. Now, I think they'd be fine because I have a lot of respect for Texas Tech, and that front is incredible. It's the best defensive front money can buy. But obviously, Utah didn't give them their best that first meeting. The odds are not in the Utes' favor to make the Big 12 championship game at this point. So we may not get to see that. I would just hate it for Utah to have to end up playing Houston in the Alamo Bowl. Which is
that actually a thing?
Well, the Pac-12 still has to fill their...
Oh, that's right. This is the last year of the Pac-12. So,
yes.
Oh, no.
Uh-huh. Right.
That is not ideal. That is not ideal.
Sorry, I just ruined a very positive and exciting conversation.
That's not what you want.
With bringing in the reality of what could happen here as this thing plays out.
Would there ever be a world where the Alamo Bowl could feature Utah and BYU, though?
Yes,
I mean, technically
100%.
with that same scenario,
absolutely.
And the Alamo Bowl is, let's not pretend, the Alamo Bowl is a better bowl game than the Las Vegas Bowl. Both teams would be extremely disappointed, obviously, having to have a rematch against one another in a bowl that is really only for the bragging rights situation. But for us here locally, if that's the consolation, and who owns the Alamo Bowl? Probably ESPN. They own most of the bowls.
100%.
So why not? I mean, I don't want to early give that thing away, but I mean, like that'd be kind of
because of the Pac-12 both situation still in play. That is 100% still a possibility. So
who else would be the option then in the Alamo Bowl for Utah? If it's not Houston, who else could it be? I mean, Houston in an Alamo Bowl feels a little bit fake.
Well, I mean,
either way,
a rematch with Cincinnati.
Yeah, these are.
I'm sorry. This is weird situation.
These are not things you want.
Arizona State. Well, no, Arizona State would not be an option. It would have to be a Pac-12 versus an old Big 12 team. I don't know. I think that's the most likely. That's why that scenario is played. Both Utah and Houston are 5-2 in conference right now, 8-2 overall, and those would be the top. So they take the next best Big 12 team that didn't make the college football playoff, and then the Pac-12. That way, that the way that works out would have to take a top one, and so it could work out in that scenario. Just throwing that out there. Or like there's a Pop-Tart scenario.
I don't
know.
Hey, write that down as a new thing that's ever been said on our show.
The Pac-12 has bowl obligations they have to fill.
There's a Pop-Tart scenario going on this weekend.
We're getting way ahead of ourselves now because everybody just needs to love and enjoy the fact that BYU and Utah are right in the mix. And look, we all believe there's a conspiracy out there that ESPN and the College Football Playoff Committee want to keep the Big 12 down to one bid.
Sure.
And we'll see how that plays out. But the truth is, carnage can happen, and we saw it happen this weekend. You saw Alabama drop one. You saw Texas get blown out. Teams in front of Utah and BYU can and might lose. We're down to 2 weeks left, so the time is running out for that to happen. And Notre Dame's unlikely to lose at this point. I think they beat the toughest team they have left on their schedule, and toughest is pretty loosely used when we're talking about Pitt. So Notre Dame seems inevitable in the playoff.
That's tough. Hate those guys.
And we needed that to happen, but there's a lot of carnage that could take place in front. We saw what almost happened to Texas A&M. We saw what almost happened to Ole Miss. We'll see. Right now, though, if before the season, we told all of you that BYU and Utah would be 12 and 13 in the college football playoff rankings heading into the final 3 weeks, you would have taken it. And that's where we're at.
You'd have also not believed this because I need to remind people that I think the best that people had BYU on this thing was 7.5 to 8 wins. I think
what
Vegas
was the over-under in Vegas? It was lower than that.
It was like 7.5.
After the Retzlaff situation?
The Retzlaff deal, yeah. I think it was 8.5, then I think it may have gone down to 7.5. But either way, nobody had this coming. And even though Utah was talented enough, nobody looked and said, yeah, they'll probably be one of these massive turnaround stories, which is what they've become. They did exactly the thing that everybody was hoping that they would do, which was turn that thing around. I want to listen to some sound from Kyle Whittingham and some of these Utes as well. Let's start first with Devin Dampier, he's become at this point like the backfield manager of like the chaos that goes back on. By the way, Utah is so inventive when it comes to getting guys the ball. It's all running the ball, but it's pretty dang creative. Jason Beck has done a phenomenal job of mixing it up. Devin Dampier, Bird Ficklin, all these guys, they start getting going. Here's what Devin Dampier said about that game against Baylor. And starting off a touch slow, but can you really call it slow when you end up with 55 points?
A lot of that fell on me just earlier. Just got to convert third down, be smarter. But, my team got my back, so I love about my boys. We knew coming out of halftime, it's a whole new half. Let's step it up, and, man, when people are balling, keep giving them the ball.
I think there's an assumption, too, that now we all see that Devin Dampier's like the first guy there when Bird Ficklin runs the ball into the end zone. Like, number 4
He's a great teammate.
Is right there with number 15. And here's what he said. Here's what Bird Ficklin said about Devin Dampier, the on-field relationship they have, and how big of a deal it's been for him.
It can be nothing but fun. We talk about this, especially all the time in our hotel room. What we're going to do whenever we're both in and we score. Like, it's just something that we both love, we both have fun with, and it's a really loving relationship between me and my best friend.
Boy, that got fun, didn't it? We better start playing You're My Best Friend now. Every time those guys get on here. I love having the back and forth with those two. Kyle Whittingham talked about the thing that everybody already knew, which is that Devin Dampier has not been 100% for, I think, a while. I don't know how long he goes back, but every game, I think some of the responsibilities get sort of shifted around to a lot of other bodies because Devin Dampier's not 100%, and it just is an easy thing to be able to say, hey, look, here's a way we can keep him healthy. We don't have him doing everything. Here's what he said about how banged up Devin Dampier's been.
Devin's a little bit beat up. There's no secret about that, but he's a competitor. He's a warrior. He goes out, unless he absolutely can't function at all, he's going to want to play. And he wasn't his normal self tonight, but good enough to go out and do some good things. But Bird, it's great to have Bird, in the bullpen in the event that we need him.
Banged up, obviously that's not a secret anymore. We tried to keep it a secret. By the way, according to all of you now, he's fine now, all right? You don't need to know what the update is on him. That's on. He's like, for him to have to say that, it's not very fun, but at the same time, it's almost like not only is he not feeling well, we're still kicking the crap out of guys, which is pretty crazy.
Thank you, Coach, for admitting it, and because it's in the best interest of Devin, because then we can judge his performance accordingly. If we thought he was 100% healthy, right now we'd be having this, why is he starting, blah, 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 all this discussion, right? Why aren't they throwing the football, blah, blah, blah. Well, he's not 100%, so now we get it. I understand why they're doing what they're doing offensively with this and taking a lot of pressure off of him. Makes more sense. The way we judge a player's performance can be more accurate when we have more information.
If somebody is watching this Utah team right now, they should be the idea that they could sneak in as a 2-loss team into the college football playoff, it's such a hard thing to try to convince, because now getting into the Big 12 championship game is an outside shot. They still have the shot, but they have an outside shot. They need some help along the way. I don't know what the help is, actually, though. Do you have the flow chart up, Napolis? Where's your flow chart? It's not just BYU losing. What else do they have to have happen? They got to have a couple other things happen.
There's a couple teams like Arizona State in that tiebreaker. They also have to have them win out because it helps their strength of schedule.
Okay.
So just situations like that at this point. But really, it comes down to BYU Cincinnati.
Is Houston in the conversation still, some weird way? They're still in the conversation, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're 5-2.
So they're a 2-loss team in the conference, and those two teams don't play each other. So I don't know what the head-to-head kind of comparison is with them.
I don't know what the tiebreaker scenario would be if BYU takes another L and everything stays the same. And they can't. It can't, because Cincinnati and BYU play.
So right.
But Arizona State is still 5-2, as well as Houston.
That's crazy.
So the potential of 4 teams having 2 losses is still in play.
I think that Arizona State staying still holding serve the last couple of weeks is probably as impressive as anything.
No doubt.
For those guys to be limping through the end of the season.
Kenny Dillingham can coach, man.
Oh, and then he has to deal with, on top of it, the rumors of the possibility that he could be going somewhere else.
They beat West Virginia 25-23 at home, and they had to score late to do it.
Hey,
but they did it.
That's an upstart West Virginia team that beat Houston the week before. All right?
Love that word, upstart.
Rich Rod's got those guys firing.
It's meaning, hey, we thought you sucked. Why are you playing well? That's what upstart means.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Houston's last 2 games are home at TCU, at Baylor, which, you know what? Houston probably wins those 2 games, considering the current state of both TCU and Baylor.
Well,
Willie Fritz can coach, and that team's got a lot of confidence right now. So you could see.
I'll tell you, on top of all that, the team that I would hate to face right now is Arizona. Arizona is a team that rolled in and just and they've lost those 2 very close games, and that's the difference of them being a 1-loss team in conference play. An overtime loss to BYU, and then a 2-point loss against Iowa State, right? Something like that. So
it's the overtime loss to BYU, a 3-point loss at Houston.
At Houston.
They lost big at Iowa State 39-14.
Oh, that's
their only bad game of the year.
Yeah.
You're right. Arizona has been impressive. They beat Cincinnati at Cincinnati 30-24. That's a great win.
Yeah, it's man. And I'm telling you, Cincinnati, we watched a good chunk of that game here on College Football Saturday. We were watching and we're going, Arizona is making Brendan Sorsby make mistakes. It's like they basically smelled blood in the water, watched the Utah tape from the week before, and they were able to get him off. They were showing they were able to get him off of his platform of I don't throw very many interceptions, and they were showing the stats because he had thrown 1 interception out of 291 attempts, and then between the Utah game and the Arizona game, in 28 attempts he had thrown 4. So then you go, okay. 28 attempts, 4 interceptions. Before that, it was 1 interception on 290 attempts. So Sorsby's in a weird spot right now.
Yeah.
But BYU has no room for going down there and thinking that they're going to roll against this Cincinnati team, who right now is fighting for their college football playoff lives, sure, but really a berth into the conference championship game is still in line. It's still just a 2-loss team in conference play.
If Cincinnati beats BYU, like I mentioned, you're going to have those
a mess.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams with 2 losses. It feels a lot like last year. The only exception is this year the conference has a bully in Texas Tech.
All right. We'll come back. More to go right around the corner. Stay with us. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a huge Big 12 battle for the Cougars as they head to Cincinnati for a showdown against the Bearcats. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for being a part of the program. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hopefully you had an amazing sports weekend like we did. Annapolis, you won this round, brother. Your Rams. What were they wearing, by the way? What is that?
Midnight blue.
What's going on? What
They're
are we
black.
doing here? It was black, right?
Yeah,
No,
they're bad.
no,
black.
they're not black.
It was
It's
too,
a
right?
dark shade of blue. Midnight blue.
The reality is, whatever they were wearing, Sam Darnold threw right to him 4 times. Poor guy. Now, I will say this. Still 7-3, still wild card spot in the NFC. I can't see them getting worse over the rest of the year. The Rams, here's what's funny about Sam Darnold. He threw those 4 picks. He just kept throwing though. It wasn't like you were looking at him going, "Oh, he's in the tank here." So we'll get to that with our NFL Blitz later. We can talk some trash on that at some point. But yeah, that was our. I was really appreciative that I didn't get some BS poop talking text from you yesterday. So I appreciate that. Did you think about it? You were like this. You pick up the phone and then you went, "I'll let him have his Sunday."
I did for a little bit.
I was like this. If that thing buzzes, phone's next to me, and I'm like, if that thing buzzes and I have to see some bull crap from Alex Annapolis, this is going to be a bad Sunday.
Annapolis, in honor of him saying poop talking on the radio, just send a poop emoji every time the Seahawks lose.
Oh,
I'm going to do the same.
Gosh darn it.
For the rest of the season, and maybe forever.
I gave
Poop talking?
It could be an alternative. I could have gone a different direction with this. We could have been bleeping stuff out already on a.
Well, he does have a dump button.
I know. Well, I don't want him to have to use it. Come on.
Poop talking.
Look, any way I can get through it. You knew what I was talking about, all right? Hey, but an awesome weekend of sports. Either way, and I even did the lesser of two evils thing and cheered for your Broncos there at the end of that game.
Oh, how great was that?
What was funny is Saturday, Rusty Keys was walking around the office. Of course, we can't even get
I haven't seen him in months.
We can't even have a nice Saturday. But he's wearing his full Chiefs stuff, and he comes in and he goes, blah, blah, blah. You're talking about Chiefs? And I was like, yeah. And then we start going, and then I was almost late to the start of the show, which is hard to do when you're already into the studio. Like I was here ready to roll. These guys are in here. I walk in, and Alex Annapolis and Christian Esparza were like, man, we were wondering, nice of you to show up. And it was like, and I think Christian goes, I saw you out there. I saw you got rustied out there, or you got rusty keyed, or something out there. I was like, I know. I was not wanting Chiefs talk right now on my college football Saturday. Thank you very much.
Yeah, gross. We never want Chiefs talk.
So the only Chiefs talk we're going to get today is a little bit later in the Blitz when I remind you what happened as they moved to a paltry 500 record. There's no way they've been at this. They've only been 500 at this time of year in the last 20 years, right?
20 years. It feels like it.
Yeah.
They've won 9 consecutive AFC West titles, and now that's in jeopardy.
He just walked by the studio.
Oh, did he?
He just walked by the studio. You guys, avert your eyes.
His ears are burning.
He definitely. Yeah, there might have been some. You know what? If I see him walk back by here, I'm going to make him rusty key you guys.
We're going to rusty key a segment here? Is that what we're going to do?
Hey, you guys got rusty. Well, no, because he's not going to want to talk about it.
You guys just got keyed.
That should be some new segment. You got keyed. Oh, my goodness. College football week 12 is in the books. Why could nobody finish off an upset this weekend? Why could nobody finish off a freaking upset this weekend?
Because it's hard to win in college football, I guess.
Pitt was nowhere close, so that was gone. You knew the Notre Dame, as soon as Jeremiah Love had that first touchdown that he hit that spin move on, and everybody was like, whoa, they were in the books. But we walked out of here doing College Football Saturday going, well, see you guys on Monday. We'll see what these college football playoff rankings look like with a blowout for Texas A&M. And they come back, of course, win that football game in wild fashion to come back from that. After a Texas State trooper gets involved, like with a couple of South Carolina players in the tunnel, we were like, what is going on right now? It was bonkers. Alabama can't get it done against Oklahoma. I was telling, and that's probably the thing that hurt the Big 12 the most over the weekend was you were waiting for Texas to lose that game against Georgia, which they did. You were waiting for Oklahoma to just go and do the thing, which was lose to an Alabama team at their place in Tuscaloosa, who'd been playing really good football after a slowish start, obviously losing to Florida State at the beginning of the year. But now you've got a team that's lost to Florida State. They lose at home to Oklahoma. But in every world and in every metric, a 2-loss Alabama team is always going to be above a 1-loss Big 12 team. Am I wrong?
No, you're not. We know we've seen this movie before, right?
They were almost there. They were almost there as a 3-loss team last year.
Exactly. And we've had people come on air saying they should have been in as a 3-loss team last year. I disagree with that, but that case is made because of how difficult of a schedule they play. They lost at home to Oklahoma, and they're not going to be punished the way that BYU was punished for losing on the road.
They got blown out by a bad Florida
Texas
State
Tech.
team.
BYU lost on the road at 10 a.m. in Texas Tech. Alabama lost at home to an Oklahoma team that is okay. I mean, they're good. Their losses are wait a minute, are they? They lost 23-6
to Texas.
Yep. At wherever the Red River rivalries played this year.
Dallas.
And they lost to Ole Miss. Okay. It's hard to judge these resumes nowadays, Alex, because these conferences are so big. They don't play every team in their conference.
No, they don't.
And Indiana's resume had that hole last year where they thought they had a tough schedule, but it turned out that Michigan and Washington and these other teams that were in the playoff the year before or had great seasons had an off year because they lost a lot of players.
Yep.
You never know, but there's not enough of us because the schedules are so spread out with the teams that play in the conference not playing the best teams every year because the conferences are so vast. It's hard to get a feel for what their strength of schedule really is. So what metric do you look at? Well, I think you look at how big of a win you're getting as far as the point spread, right? Texas A&M having to come back at home against South Carolina, trailing 30-3 at home to South Carolina. They should be punished for that. You're going to hear about, what an incredible comeback. What an incredible team. You were down 30-3 at home to a team that's now 3-7.
Yeah, but I was kind of in that camp where I went, I can't believe they came back and won that game.
Yeah, but they did it against a team that's 3-7.
Dude.
There's a reason why South Carolina's 3-7.
Kind of impressive.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
They should never have been in that place, in that situation in the first place. But they're not going to be punished for it. What if BYU trailed 30-3 to TCU on Saturday and rallied to win by 1 point?
Well,
what would the national people say?
Let me just tell you right now what Heather Dinich said about this team on ESPN, because their argument about – so she does her whole thing where she goes through and starts doing the here's why teams should be in, here's why teams should be out. And she's got BYU sitting at 11 behind Notre Dame, behind Alabama, behind basically those two lost teams that you look at and you go, hold on a minute. And obviously Oklahoma moved up in the rankings because they beat Alabama this weekend. It helps not just to not lose the games in November. It helps to also not lose the games in or to make sure that you win those games in November, because then we watch Oklahoma do its thing and then you go, wow, can you believe they beat Alabama at their place? And to do it on November 15th, just impressive. We never say that.
Why does the date matter?
It doesn't, but here we are because it does. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
The Alabama loss at Florida State, no one cares about anymore because they're like, yeah, but that was – listen, when you lost that game, when was that? Must have been a couple decades ago, back in September, when we lose by 2.5 touchdowns to an extremely bad Florida State team who rattled off 4 losses in a row after that. That's what you get. Man, but they won that game, and you know what's more impressive? They won it on November 20th. That is legitimately how people think on this committee, and it's so stupid. Heather Dinich rolls out and goes, yeah, that blowout loss to Texas Tech, though, has really stuck in the craw of the committee members who watched BYU just looked absolutely terrible against Texas Tech, and you're like, one of the best teams in the country at their place, number 7 versus number 8, and they lose that game. If 7 loses against 8 this weekend in the SEC, we saw what it does. All you do is stay in the top 10 in a different order. That's all you do.
Yeah.
But if you're BYU, you lose your first game of the year, and it's like, yeah, it might as well be over. And then she goes, and a blowout win over a 4-loss TCU team. And I was like, they're at 4 losses because one of them was to BYU. You can't call them a 4-loss team when that loss happened this weekend. Yeah, the 4-loss team you beat. They're 4 losses because we gave it to them. And by the way, it was by 31 points. If you're BYU, you should be absolutely pissed. That's what you're saying. And so then they go, yeah, and the thing about Utah is they lost to BYU, so they're just going to be right where BYU is. That's the logic. Just hang out by BYU, Utah, because that's as high as we're going to put you. You know why? Because BYU lost a game on November 4th. Remember that? Like, people, this is how they talk. And this is how ESPN wants to get a 5th SEC team in. They loved it this weekend because now they just have a cajillion 2-loss teams. And I don't know, what's the rest of Oklahoma's schedule look like? Because Texas is going to – I just take Texas out of the equation. Missouri and LSU.
Hey, LSU is going to play hard. And
which one's at home?
Missouri's at home. LSU's at home. They're both at home.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
And LSU's like, please, Lane Kiffin, come to coach. Please, Lane Kiffin, you coach LSU. Florida wants him. LSU wants him. So when you're having that kind of talk, no one cares about the freaking game itself. And if you're hanging your hats on Missouri, gosh dang it, that's tough. But Texas has to play Texas A&M. Texas has to play Texas A&M last game. And, of course, Texas A&M is going to do the thing that the SEC does. They're going to lose a freaking game. And then Texas is going to get vaulted up as a 3-loss team because they just beat number 3 Texas A&M. Well, when did you do it? November 25th. Wow. Impressive. So you see where we're going here?
Yeah.
We're watching the car wreck happen in slow motion, and we have no ability to stop it. It's one of those terrible dreams where you're like reaching as slow as you can to try to stop something. Can't do it. Cannot do it.
And then you're left thinking, man, even in a 12-team playoff, they somehow managed to rig the system.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see? All right.
Why? Because it just means more.
It means so much more down here.
To ESPN's bank account.
Now, you know what's funny? Is something that's not insignificant is BYU's game being put at 6 o'clock against Cincinnati. It's not a super late game. It's okay. It's an okay viewing window. That makes a difference.
It's 8 p.m. Eastern. It's all right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's not the 10:30 Eastern game.
Exactly.
It makes a difference. So that's at least a little bit of an important thing there.
Big opportunity for BYU to get a good win.
All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back. By the way, Hans and Scotty are going to be down in Nephi. Check them out noon to 3 on Tuesday. That's tomorrow at The Grill, 2264 South Main Street in Nephi. Go check it out for yourself. Go check out some of these awesome beef, of course. Bar W hooking them up, and then you can reap the rewards at The Grill, the restaurant right there in Nephi. Join Hans and Scotty then. We'll come back. More to go right around the corner, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.
Nobody gets you ready for Utah football more than the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready?
Kyle Whittingham and the Utes return home for a battle against Kansas State. Your home for the best coverage of Utah football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen, thanks for being with us on the program. Weekend Warriors brought to you by the good folks at Gillette Heating and Air. Right now, get that seasonal maintenance done on that furnace. You're going to be firing it up a lot more in the next few weeks here and the next few months. So get it looked at. $59 for an expert at Gillette HVAC to come out and take a look. GilletteHVAC.com to make an appointment. Let me see here. Weekend Warriors, people who won the weekend here for us. How about the one that you guys had the call on, JJ? The Kenan Pula interception heard around the world and seen by everybody. Take a listen to what it sounded like up at Rice Eccles Stadium last weekend.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow! A one-handed interception.
Oh, that's a Utah Ute right there.
You won't see anything more spectacular than that in a high school football game.
Matt, Sam, send that into ESPN ASAP. Wow.
They did, and it was heard, and it was the number one play on SportsCenter that night. In fact, they interviewed the kid that night, and I'm watching it, and my son comes home, and we're watching, and I go, look at this. Look at what's going on SportsCenter right now. And all they're doing is showing it on a loop while they're talking to him. He's still got the eye black on, and, his phone is blowing up. He's having the biggest 15 minutes of fame that any kid in high school's ever had, but it says right there at the bottom of the screen, Lone Peak High School, Highland, Utah, Ken and Pula, Utah commit. And I'm like, these are all things you want when you're talking about a local kid and the type of impact you can have on a weekend. And guess what? A couple other plays from other states and their other state championships that are going on, not even close to what was put on that show on last Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, it was Friday.
Yeah, Friday afternoon. Great exposure for the state. Great exposure for Kennan. He deserved it. That was incredible. Still can't believe I saw that.
Audio courtesy of Jeremiah Jensen and Sly. I love how Sly just goes, wow. And then he goes, Utah Ute right there. Number one thing he's got to yell out. That's Utah Ute right there. Not for long if everybody takes a look at that.
Yeah, I'm sure he got some
recruiting opens up a little bit.
some people reached out to him, I'm sure, over the weekend.
Hey, this is Coach Nick Saban. Just really love what you're doing down there. Have you talked to some of my friends over here in Tuscaloosa?
Got a bag sitting right here. There's something in this bag. If you want it, feel free to take it.
That might be literally $1 million catch is what's crazy. What's wild is that could be $1 million catch for a kid.
Well, it could be, and it should be.
That's awesome.
I've never seen anything like that.
Great poll. I loved it. And then finally, I didn't want to skip on this one because the Denver Broncos, like I said, lesser of two evils in the AFC West is what I'll call them. But they get the dub last night over the Kansas City Chiefs, and at the very end of the game, the last shot was on just a really sad Mr. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. I was disappointed to see how disappointed he was, but here's what it sounded like.
Snap placement, kick on the way, and it is good! They don't block this one like last year in Kansas City, and on the final play of the game, the Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs by a final score of 22-19.
There you go. There's your win. We'll take the break. We'll come back. More to go. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
It's another battle for the Aggies, and the KSL Sports Zone has it covered. The Aggies head to California for a chance to get bowl eligible against Fresno State. Your home for all the play-by-play coverage of Aggie football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Oh, I know we got Sucks to Be You coming up a little bit later, but Antonio Brown's face just popped up on the screen. Could be facing 30 years in the clink.
Oh, boy.
That's not a fine for taking your shirt off at the football game kind of.
No, that's real life, man. That's hard.
So keep our eye on that one. Awkward. Hey, but in the meantime, let's kick off the hours we always do with the cut. We'll jump in right here. Let's get to some of the finer points of this BYU versus TCU win down at LaVell Edwards Stadium for Kalani and his guys. Bouncing back after taking their first loss of the season at Texas Tech. They were not able to bounce back last year. Their two losses were 2 games in a row after they had started off hot at a 9-0 start. Now, 9-1 going to Cincinnati. How's that thing going to work out? Let's get things kicked off here, right here with the cut, top of the program.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Doug Smith brings you this portion of the program, an incredible selection of Kia, Subaru, Chevy, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram, and now Mitsubishi. Nobody knows cars like Doug. American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden for the Doug Smith dealerships. JJ, BYU getting a blowout win over TCU. I thought it was not insignificant that BYU was able to hold TCU to not score that last time down the field. With all these youngsters on the field whose names are not being called that often, but for your backups who are going to be the future of this defense, that was one of the big things that Kalani talked about in his postgame was just how awesome it was to see these guys be able to. He's like, you don't hear their names very often because they're further down the depth chart, but I thought that was just as big of a deal to be able to develop guys in that moment. BYU wins 44-13. You had a pick six. You had another interception by Falatau Satuala. That guy is having a freaking year.
Yeah.
And Tanner Wall's having a freaking year. That defense had a great game, and they stopped one of the better passing offenses in the country. On top of that, they were able to put up 44 points, and Bear was able to get himself to Big 12 Player of the Week honors. It was a great way to bounce back if you're a BYU fan, because now people go back to, hey, maybe they weren't fooling people. Beating TCU, even though they're according to Heather Dinich, a 4-loss TCU team. Oh, yuck.
Oh,
Can't believe that they blew them out. Ugh.
They should have won by 50.
Yeah, not as impressive.
Not good enough.
Not as impressive. However, I did also see a thing that she wrote up this week, too. She was like, well, with Utah beating Cincinnati 45-14, BYU better have at least that good of a performance to show the playoff committee that they're serious. And I was like, oh, my gosh, what are we doing? You're asking them to go to Cincinnati and to win 45-14? It's a little bit of a tall order.
Essentially, yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
But, honestly, from a standpoint, let's say they go in there and they win 28-17, 28-21.
They'll drop.
No, they won't.
Yes, they will.
All right.
Especially if Utah beats Kansas State like 51-14 or something like that, and BYU
There's no
wins
way that
by a touchdown.
They will not leapfrog BYU in the rankings. Is that what you're saying?
They're right next to each other.
I know, but they're a one-loss BYU team and having the head-to-head with Utah.
I'm not saying they should.
You're a crazy person, but I know, but not that crazy.
No. I'm not saying that.
You're going full ESPN on us.
I'm not saying that. I'm not going full Heather Dinich. I'd never go full Heather Dinich.
You never go full Dinich.
You never, ever go full Heather Dinich. Okay? ESPN does not sign my checks. I will not do what the ESPN bosses want me to do to enhance their TV ratings and revenue. No, BYU should not fall behind them. But what's the logic going on right here, right now? Why did BYU fall 5 spots? I'm not over it. Because I think it's a joke.
Last week.
They got beat by a really, really, really good Texas Tech team. The metrics back that up. The metrics the committee says they're using. And they dropped BYU 5 spots for it. How far is Alabama going to drop? Tuesday. Are they going to drop 5 spots? I bet they don't. They lost at home to Oklahoma, but they're not going to drop 5 spots, are they? Of course not. So, while you're screaming at me about that observation, it's not far-fetched that if teams in this scenario are blowing a team out while another one struggles, that they could get leaped because they've told us they're taking this week by week, right? So if BYU struggles at Cincinnati and Utah boat races another team, what's stopping them from doing that? Even though BYU has 1 loss, Utah has 2, and BYU beat Utah. That's how little trust I have in the committee to get this right. And that's how little trust I have that ESPN isn't influencing this situation. Try to get as many SEC teams in as possible.
What's closer to reality, by the way? The AP poll has Texas at 17. I don't think we'll see Texas further. I think we'll see Texas at 13, right behind Utah and BYU, right?
They're not going to drop them down to 17. No way.
That's what I'm saying is like.
They lost to Georgia.
Right.
It wouldn't surprise me if they didn't move Texas.
They just stay right there.
We need to wait and see what if they beat Texas A&M the last week of the season. That would be a massive win over an undefeated Texas A&M. So until we see that, we can't move them down too far because there's a potential for them to win a big game, even though they haven't won a big game yet. Who's Texas beat? What's the big win for them?
Oklahoma. That's what they'll say. Well, they beat Oklahoma.
Okay.
And Oklahoma's a 2-loss team themselves.
Correct.
So how many 2-loss teams? So you got Alabama, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, all in front of BYU and Utah.
Right. You have 2-loss teams ahead of a 1-loss BYU team.
Yeah.
BYU. This is not a G5 BYU. This is not independent BYU. This is Big 12, Power 4 BYU.
I think people do see that. I think people think that. It's hard to shake that brand and to try to get them to think, oh, yeah, Power 4 team. They know in their head, intellectually, they know they're in the Big 12. But it's hard to turn that corner on the perception. of what this team is, which is, they're kind of like Boise State. That is definitely a conversation we've had with people over the years. Oh yeah, they're kind of like Boise. They're like Boise State. They recruit better than everybody else, kind of in that area, and they're doing great for where they're at, which is like the ultimate kick in the teeth. You guys are like really hot, but like for where you live, like Canada hot. You're like, what? Excuse you? All right, I've got some sound for you. How about Kalani Sitake talking about the offensive focus that they had going into this to this week, taking on TCU, about getting not just that identity back, but getting the freshman quarterback Bear Bachmeier to feel a lot more comfortable.
It felt like it was just good to let Bear throw the ball, and you don't always have to max pro for him. I think let the tackles block. We threw the ball in a lot of different ways, play action, but also we're able to just do some drop back pass. Just open the playbook, just let us do our thing and mix in the run too. But I felt like we were just trying to do whatever to get points on the board, first downs. I mean, that's a lot of first downs, and so good to put it all together and then taking care of the football. I was really pleased with how our offense did that, but felt like that's what we're capable of doing. We just got to keep the momentum going and get into next week.
JJ, one of the things that I think was interesting in that game was BYU, the defense showing up the way that it did. TCU, who's been putting up numbers on offense, they get held to one touchdown, a couple field goals. Here's what Kalani said about that. And by the way, I'm sitting in the room while he's making these comments. He does get a little bit of a smile on his face when he talks about this defense. Here's what he said.
I thought defensively, Jay Hill and the defensive staff did an amazing job prepping for this game, and then the players just executed everything that we asked them to. And they were able to get some chunk yardage. I think in the run game, they were kind of forced to run, but it got to the point where they were too far behind to catch up. So we knew that we could make it hard on them, at least limit the big plays. I thought overall, defensively, great game plan. I was fired up about the Fadley's interception because Tausili got some pressure. That's what we brought him here to do, to get some pressure, and he had a really good game, and we just got to get him on the field. And Newsy and all those guys have done a great job. So we used a bunch of guys. It's just nice to see them coming along and giving them opportunities to make plays. I was fired up for the entire defense on that.
I think one of the bigger storylines too, JJ, was the fact that LJ Martin looked healthy, but he also looked not scared. Does that mean to think that he kind of ran scared against Texas Tech?
Well, and it may have been. There's obvious reasons for that with the injury.
Right. It may have been that he was still kind of.
He looked himself.
Trepidatious, kind of going into that Texas Tech game on top of the fact.
Himself.
He even said in the postgame, he's like, yeah, I mean, it didn't help that they were such a good team on defense. Like, you get a little bit of intimidation going on, and you're not 100% confident when you're not feeling great. But what's great is that I think he's healthy now. And by the way, big chunk yards, running the guy, the running game, the Bear Bachmeier run game came back again. They picked and chose great times to be able to bust it out, not just in times of desperation and trying to figure some things out. But he found some of his big targets. I think and we talked about this in the post game too, Napolis, you and Christian and I. It was such a big deal to bring Carson Ryan back into the conversation as well. That 43-yard touchdown was huge. They used him in a different way they've been using him, and that was big time too, because that's another wrinkle that I think a lot of offenses go, oh gosh, and we got to account for number 20 too.
Yeah, and he talked about the defense. I have some numbers here that really back up just how good BYU was on Saturday on defense, because I thought that was the most important thing. It's going to poke a lot of holes in the narrative about BYU's competition and what they're doing right now. TCU's 12th in the country in passing yards.
Yeah.
291 per game.
Yep. They
held TCU below 200 yards passing, which is insane.
Yeah.
183.
Couple picks, too.
183, 2 interceptions, and 0 touchdown passes. Josh Hoover's numbers, 10 of 23. For 183, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They held him below 50% passing. He averages, his completion percentage this season is 62.4 in conference play. In conference play, that's not just so that takes out some of the cupcakes that they played.
Yep.
This is conference play, 62%. He was in the 40 percentile in passing your completion percentage. They averaged 30 points per game, does TCU. 30. They scored 13.
Mm-hmm.
That BYU defense was elite on Saturday and shut down an otherwise explosive team with a very good quarterback. One of the top, I'd say, 20 quarterbacks in the country.
Right. He
doesn't look like it now, and no one's talking about him right now because BYU just made him look like he wasn't very good. It's not the case. BYU's defense is that good, and they proved it on Saturday night.
BYU in total defense right now, after that performance, is ranked 25th in the country. Their scoring defense is 13th. They're tied for 13th with Alabama on the scoring defensive side of things. So Utah's number 10 overall in scoring defense, BYU 13th. And then BYU in total defense is 25th, and Utah's 35th. That's basically the yardage per game. And yeah, the 500.
Utah took a big hit this weekend.
Yeah,
on
the
yardage.
580 or whatever it was that they gave up against Baylor. And it's kind of crazy because you're like, look how many yards you gave up, and you won by 30 points. Who cares?
Exactly.
It's like whatever. So, all right. Let me see here. We'll come back. More to go. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
You know what's coming. Your daily deep dive into everything Utah Jazz. It's time! All season long and even in the off season. It's Jazz Daily with JJ and Alex on your exclusive home of Utah Jazz basketball. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone. Alex, Kirry, Jeremiah, Jensen, thanks for being with us on a Monday. Mondays are so much fun. We get to get together and jam over a weekend of sports that were, and there were a lot this weekend to be able to get together on today with JJ and myself. Nominate the Youth Sports Volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit that nomination at KSLSports.com/contest. Listen every Thursday afternoon to our program, and we'll give you a winner every week. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers who do a great job with the youth sports in their area with the Hercules Hero of the Week program, sponsored by the folks at Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals, both from whom they will win a prize. So there you go. Jazz Daily, you heard the music on the way in here. JJ, great job, Jazz. Keep winning?
Wait. What are we doing here?
I'm really excited.
Wait. What are we doing here? Why is Lauri having all these 30-plus point games?
Listen,
how come I look at the standings?
How come Keontae's like having the best year of his career?
When did Keontae George decide to be a top-level NBA point guard?
Where do you think? Okay, so like in terms
what's
of
going
jump,
on here? This is not how this year is supposed to go. This looks too good.
47 last night.
This team's winning games.
47 last night for Lauri. Right? 47 points, 33 for Keontae, including that game winner in overtime. What was cool was it's right over here across the street at Delta Center on a Sunday that's not, Sundays aren't the most popular games to get to, obviously, here in the state of Utah. Yeah. But they pack out this place now. I mean, and there's no option. There's no, it used to be the NBA's like, sure, we won't have as many home games for you guys.
The
now
fact
it's
that
like
people won't show up to Sunday events here in Utah is a myth.
It's a myth, but also now that the hockey team is also in the same building, there's no you get what you get, right? That's the schedule is going to have to be what it is. 150 for the second time in 6 days, right? In 5 days.
Two of the highest scoring games in franchise history have happened in the last week.
And 16 apiece from Sensabaugh and Collier, right? Ace Bailey, the one game in the last few that he didn't have a 20-point game, he didn't have a particularly good night, but he also only played 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that what it was?
His per-minute average was pretty good.
But it's an awesome thing. Look, and the Bulls aren't a phenomenal team, but what they are is a 500 team. They're winning ball games more than they're losing them. And I don't know. I don't know what to think right now because I really like what they're doing. And Will Hardy's got to be pleased, except for the defensive side of things, obviously, because they've had some bad quarters. Last week when they played the Hawks and they gave up 80 in the first half, they end up losing that game by it was like 132, 122, whatever it was, but 80 points in the first half. Yeah. Never fun.
But we knew that because Walker Kessler's out.
Yeah, Walker Kessler is out.
There's no way this team is currently constituted. It's going to be a great defensive team with Walker Kessler out. What I think Will Hardy does want to see is effort on the part of the guys that are actually there to at least try. And that happens sometimes.
Yeah, I just wondered,
But if you can score 150 a game, you can get away with it.
Yeah, not bad. My question is does all of this, because right now Lauri Markkanen, I don't know what the league averages are, but he's had a 51-point game, a 47-point game, a 40-point game, a 35-point game, a 32-point game. So out of the Jazz's first 12 games, 5 or 6 of them have been an average. If you just take those 5 games, the average is 39.8 points a game for Lauri Markkanen.
I got a stat for you. It's going to blow you away.
Let me hear it.
Who are the top 5 scorers in the league right now? Luka Doncic is number 1.
Your MVP.
34.4 points per game.
Not bad.
Giannis, number 2, 32.6. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, NBA champion, 32.6.
Last year's MVP. Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey, number 4, at 32 points. Not really a surprise, though, if you've been watching Tyrese Maxey.
He's the new guy.
He's now a star.
Yeah.
He's going to be an all-star. Number 5, Lauri Markkanen for the season, 30.6. And then you look at a smaller sample size of what he's done recently, and the average goes even higher. The Jazz have a top 5 scorer in the league on their roster right now. And I'm going to do it. If the playoffs started today.
Yeah, baby, let's go.
Where would the Jazz be if the playoffs started today? They'd be in the play-in game. Number 10 overall right now in the West at 5-8. Ahead of a team like the Clippers.
Tell me the pick implication stuff that needs to happen.
Yeah, well that's not good. Yeah.
Oh, you don't like it? Oh, you don't want to talk about it?
Under those circumstances,
Fine.
yes, the top pick would convey. But we don't know that until the lottery happens. Because the Jazz, if they miss the playoffs, even if with a decent record, they'd still be in the lottery. Yeah. But if the lottery they fall 9th or lower in the lottery, then they would have to give that pick to Oklahoma City. Now, are there any elite players available in this upcoming draft from 9 to 30? I mean, I'd have to get a draft expert in here and tell us what they'd be missing out on if they have to convey that pick. But this team's good enough right now that you're going to have that conversation about what would happen if they have to convey that pick, because this team is not the Washington Wizards. This is not the Brooklyn Nets. This is not the New Orleans Pelicans. The Sacramento Kings are 3-11 right now. The Dallas Mavericks, who won the lottery and have Cooper Flagg, are 4-10. The Clippers are 4-9. No, the Utah Jazz are at 5-8 right now, and they would be in the play-in mix. We'll see how it all plays out later. Obviously, that's getting way ahead of ourselves. But early on in the season, the way the Jazz are trending right now, I mean, what is Keontae going to get worse?
Yeah.
No, this is a great story.
No, he won't. But
Keontae's amazing. He hit a game winner last night in overtime. Are you not entertained? This is what you want as a fan. Lauri Markkanen should be an all-star. Lauri Markkanen right now.
Yeah, he'd be an all-star.
In top 5 in scoring, should be an all-star. Did you expect either of those two things to happen before the season started? That Keontae George would be getting 30-plus points in games and hitting game winners and playing elite point guard play in this league? Would you expect Lauri Markkanen to get back to that? Probably not. That's where they're at right now.
Bigger surprise, Keontae George or Lauri Markkanen, what they're doing?
Keontae. We've already seen Lauri Markkanen be an all-star. That's not a surprise.
Yeah, but 30 a
Keontae
game, he's doing
George
it,
taking the next step in his career, becoming, I'm going to say the L word, Keontae looks like a leader out there.
Ugh. Nobody wants leadership.
Keontae George is becoming a leader. George.
Hey, I want my future superstars.
Is trying on defense.
I want my future superstars without the burden of being a leader. Ugh. I want them to go out there and have no reservations, because you know what? The only person that exists on the court is them. I want them talking in third person. All right? That's what I want. I want Keontae George to start talking about himself like Keontae George played a good game tonight. That's what I want. Bring it back.
It's coming.
It's a crazy time, though, because now what are they, 5-8?
Yes.
5-8. And, again, this team won 17 games last year. We've already won 5, and we are midway through November. So only 13 games in, 14 games in, and you're already 5 wins into the books here. So.
Now, the schedule gets tough here for the next 4. At the Lakers, home against Oklahoma City, home against the Lakers, at Golden State. Do I think they're going to win those 4 games? Probably not.
Might go 1-3, though, 2-2. Come on.
But they went through a stretch where they played Indiana, Atlanta, Chicago, and they won 2 of 3.
Yeah.
So there's going to be those stretches. Like they got a stretch coming up where they're playing the Brooklyn Nets. They're going to get those kind of wins. Sacramento's coming up again. We've already seen that before. So there's going to be stretches where they have success like this, but there's also going to be those tough patches that will make up for that. So I don't think the Jazz are a playoff team. But if you're a Utah Jazz fan, I'm telling you, check in on these games. Watch this team play. Consider going to the arena. They are fun. They are competitive. This is not the team last year. This is not the Jazz team last year that made you want to pull your eyeballs out because you couldn't stand what you saw. It's different this year.
I wonder too if Walker was playing, then do you look at this and go, you know what? Chips fall wherever they fall. Let's just play basketball here, man. See what these guys can do. Get them to 38 wins. You know what I mean? Why not? All right. This week though, the Jazz tomorrow 8:30 down in Los Angeles, and then they come back home on Friday for a tilt against the Oklahoma City Thunder, the reigning NBA champs, coming to town for the first time this year on Friday. That's NBA Cup action, by the way, JJ. You didn't need to be told that. You already knew.
We are all following it so closely.
You already had it down.
We have it marked on our calendars.
You got that special thing up in the studio, so we all recognize when the NBA Cup games are. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more to go. Stay here, 97.5 VKSL Sports Zone.
Basking in the sports misfortune of others to help make you feel just a little bit better about yourself. As JJ and Alex present,
Yes, we got beat. We got beat badly.
It Sucks to Be You.
Oh, we always love to talk about the people who it sucks to be on a Monday. It's always easy to talk about people who had awesome weekends. But there's always just as much content of people who didn't have very good weekends because of the previously mentioned awesome weekends by others. So some are sad, some are happy. That's just part of it. Hey, by the way, the Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealer Strong Play of the Weekend. We give out money to Amazon. Amazon gift cards this time of year are amazing. These are what you want. You know why? Because you're already ordering a bunch of stuff off of there anyway. Might as well help yourself out. If you were listening to DJ and PK this morning, they, of course, gave out the Rocky Mountain Chevy Dealer Play of the Weekend. And if you can recite back to us what it was, just give us a call right now, 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE, 801-575-9663. And get yourself that Amazon gift card. Any clues there, Annapolis? Anything you want to give us?
Oh,
wow, that's aggressive.
You gave it away.
But you know what, though? I don't hate the effort on the
Maybe you didn't give it away because
you should have done
there are multiple.
Oh, yeah, you know what?
Clever.
Okay. You gotta.
You didn't give it away after all.
Gotta turn on your psychic skills through the phone and see what producer Alex is gonna tell you is the winner. You know what? You should have done the Peter Griffin version of that song, by the way, the Family Guy version. That one's way more recognizable.
It's much better.
Hey, by the way, at Bellison Jewelry tomorrow is going to be Jake and Ben, their weekly conversation with the coach of Weber State football, on top of bringing you awesome deals on some jewelry locally made just for you, cherished for generations. It's Bellison Jewelry in Ogden, 1155 36th Street. That's where Jake and Ben are going to be tomorrow. So there you go. Sucks to be you. Sucks to be the Utah State Aggies who had to rely on the kicking game in overtime. They had a chance to win it after UNLV had missed their field goal in the first part of their first overtime, and instead it ends up being a loss for Utah State. They get let me see. Oh yeah, they get the field goal the second time around, and then gave up from the second play of scrimmage in the second overtime a touchdown to UNLV, and then that was all she wrote. And now, what are they, 5-5 now? They got to get. They have a couple games left.
One more win to get bowl eligible, but they're playing Fresno State and Boise State.
Come on,
Fresno State on the road. It's not going to be easy. It would be a shame for this team to fall short. That's why it was so heartbreaking.
Yeah,
Saturday. It seemed so close on the road against a really good UNLV team.
Yeah, tough stretch, by the way. This last go
schedule, we knew it was coming.
Yep,
and here it is, and it's tough that they missed that opportunity.
Sucks to be the Lions, who, by the way, are kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs, who are also on the list of people it sucks to be, because you're looking and you're going, oh, where are you going to find some wins to be that team that we anticipated that you'd be this year?
I'm going to do it again right now.
If the playoffs
started today,
what do you got?
Where would the Lions be? Not in it.
No, really?
They are 8th currently.
No. Hold on a minute.
The San Francisco 49ers at 7-4. Yeah, the stinking Bears. The stinking first place Chicago Bears.
Wow.
7-3 right now. I have no idea how they're doing it because I think they're not good.
They actually don't know either.
But they are 7-3, ahead of the Packers, ahead of the Lions, and ahead of the Vikings, who are 4-6. Yes, the Detroit Lions, as good as they are, as talented as they are, would miss the playoffs today.
Yeah, but my Seahawks would be in.
They would be the 5 seed at 7-3.
Let's go. Punch my ticket. Also sucks to be Jamar Chase, who said emphatically, I did not spit on that man.
Oh, boy.
I did not spit on that man.
Probably not a good weekend to be pulling the Bill Clinton.
Oh, sorry.
Just saying. I'm going to leave it at that.
So you follow that stuff way more closely than I do. I'm worried about you. I got you, though. But hold on a minute.
I've never been around Bill. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I will say this, though.
No idea, but if I was,
I do love the idea.
I'd be great.
I do love the idea of I spit on a person. What? And it's like
how did
we
you know?
we have 78 different camera angles of you spitting on him.
It's just like the state trooper in Texas this weekend.
Oh my gosh, that guy.
What a clown.
He sucked for sure.
I wonder if he told his supervisor. I don't know what you're talking about. I wouldn't push a player.
Hold on, what now? So what
dude.
happened? So describe to me what they said, because I got my side of the story too, boss. And then you're like, well, we saw it. You came up the tunnel because you wanted to be a dirtbag. To this guy who obviously pulled up with like a weird hammy situation going into the tunnel. His teammate comes up to congratulate him, and this trooper comes through, bursts and goes, "Get the heck out of here. You don't mess with Texas." What I hate is that they ended up coming back and winning, and he probably was like, "I tried to intimidate him." Mm-hmm. But he was dismissed from his duties as well. Jamar Chase, though, you spit on the guy, he got suspended for a game.
Yes, he got caught.
Because we have it in full 4K, like slow motion. Spits right on him. And you know what, Jalen Ramsey?
It wasn't one of those things like, I accidentally gleeked on you. It was like, oh my gosh.
Gleeked.
That's a lot of fluid coming out of his mouth on that spit.
Straight up out of the 90s junior high reference. Can you gleek, bro?
I can.
I can't.
I won't give a demonstration right now in front of the water
guys.
This
is inappropriate. Post-COVID, you can't do something like that in the office.
No. I would never.
He was gleeking in the office. All right. We got to a weird spot in the show.
How did we work gleeking into the show
Well,
today?
we're going to bail ourselves out right here. We'll get more around the corner as well. We have tons to break down for you on a Monday. Stay with us, 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
Let's go! Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a huge Big 12 battle for the Cougars as they head to Cincinnati for a showdown against the Bearcats. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, everybody. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Worried about my co-host. See if we can find JJ here. No? Oh, okay. Oof. I was a little bit nervous there. You know what happened? I think I know what happened. Did you get rusty keyed?
I just got keyed.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We talked about it earlier in the show. It was a matter of time.
I wondered.
And he would not stop talking about how the refs screwed the Chiefs on Sunday.
He wasn't serious.
Oh, he was too.
I love fans. I love sports fans. We are the most delusional people on the planet, right? You thought that candy was going to be free you got over there, didn't you?
Oh, it came with a cost.
I got keyed. Oh. It's like getting shivved in the joint.
Not sure it's that extreme.
At KSL, you can get keyed. Ow!
Nobody shivved me. I'm not bleeding.
I got rusty keyed. I'm gonna have to get that. That tetanus shot. Just got rusty keyed.
He is rusty.
He wasn't really complaining with the refs, though, was he? Like he was.
He's a Chiefs fan. Of course he was.
Okay. All right.
Everyone wants to spin this narrative that the Chiefs get all the calls, but trust me, I got examples.
Well, so here's my question, though. Because in the end, though, because one of the stats they threw up, though, the Chiefs last year were 12-0 in one-score games. Like, that's phenomenal.
That's why they were great.
This year?
There he is right there.
This year, 0-5 in one-score games. So you win some, you lose 5. That's what the deal is. But, yeah, 12-0 in one-score games last year. And then 0-5 this year. Your Broncos, on the flip side, were 1-6 last year in one-score games. And they are
Still
this year
made the playoffs.
And this year they are 7-2 in one-score games.
That would explain the winning streak.
Yeah. So not bad. Not a bad way to get things going. They're 9-2 then.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all but wrapped up in that division.
They've won 8 straight games.
That's awesome. Good for you guys. I will say, like, it's not like they whoops, I can't believe we won 9 games. Like, Bo Nix looks like he's comfortable as an NFL quarterback now, right? Like, he looks like
there's still issues. I mean,
for sure,
the 3 and outs are an issue.
But what he has,
inconsistency of the offense is an issue. But that defense is one of the best in the league.
Defense is really good. But it just honestly, Bo Nix is back there, and he doesn't look totally flustered, which is what you need, you know. And by the way, he can scoot if he needs to. When he runs, he can bust off 13 yards, no problem. And he's got some interesting weapons. It's all coming together, man. They can score quick. They can get it going. All right, let me see here. Starting off the hour here, let's do it strong. Let's get to the cut right here, top of the hour. Let's jump in right here. We've got tons to get to when it comes to the college football playoff. We're a day away from hearing what the rollout is going to be of these teams and what the college football playoff committee is going to say and do to spin where they put teams. Let's jump in right here with the cut.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Trajan Wealth brings you this portion of the program. TRAJAN Wealth.com. That's TrajanWealth.com for all your trusted local needs in retirement. So we've been going at Heather Dinich's breakdown a little bit, and I'm still fine too. But I did want to read the actual chunk here. Now she actually did move up Texas Tech to 5. Some people have Texas Tech like not moving up at all. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Where what ends up happening is because Alabama lost, they'll basically just put Oklahoma ahead and then just kind of keep the teams that were where they were at.
And I think that they'll end up doing that if USC beats Oregon.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Please don't.
It's coming.
These nightmare scenarios are going to keep us up at night. Now, Heather Dinich from ESPN has Texas Tech at 5, Ole Miss at 6. Now, her 1, 2, 3, 4 pretty straightforward, right? You go Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, and then Georgia.
I have no problem with that, actually.
I think those are all where they probably should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're going to ding Texas A&M at all for not showing up in that game, you just keep up. They're still a 10-0 team.
They're undefeated.
Okay? They're 10-0. The Hoosiers are 11-0. Can you believe 2 11-year wins in a row for the Indiana
Never
Hoosiers?
in my lifetime did I think that would happen.
It's crazy. And then Ohio State, of course, going 10-0. So then Georgia to 9-1, Texas Tech to 10-1, Ole Miss to 10-1, Oregon at 7 at 9-1. The Oklahoma Sooners jump into the top 10 at number 8. Alabama for Heather Dinich goes to number 9. Now, in a lot of these, you're seeing Alabama go to 10, 11, 12 in some cases, right? Because that's their second loss. And their first one was definitely not good. And they lost at home this weekend.
Right. They should be punished for that.
And 8-2 and going down to 8 or 9 is not really a punishment. However, let's soldier on here because a 2-loss Oklahoma at number 8, a 2-loss Alabama at number 9, and a 2-loss Notre Dame team at number 10, who beat Pitt over the weekend. Now, BYU is sitting at number 11 at 9-1, and Utah at 12 at 8-2. Okay. Here's what she writes up: BYU's 24-21 win against Utah is the highlight of its resume, and its lone loss was on the road to one of the committee's top teams, Texas Tech. Still, BYU's poor play against the Red Raiders factored into the committee's decisions, and a decisive win against a 4-loss TCU team will not do much to close the gap between BYU and the Big 12's best team. So, do you see what the problem is here? She's not comparing other programs ahead of them in the college football playoff. Did you see what she did there?
She's only comparing them to the
one team that she feels like needs to get in from the Big 12.
That only one team is going to get
Do you
in.
Do you hear the logic that she's saying? That a decisive win against a 4-loss TCU team. Again, one of the 4 losses was to BYU. They don't. It's not like they go, well, you guys beat a 4-loss TCU, or you beat a 4-loss TCU team, and you go, no, we beat a 3-loss TCU team. if you're trying to make that argument. I just loved it. I would love to hear the conversation, right? And I know that the new commissioner, the AD from Arkansas, is going to have to get in there and do the new kind of tap dancing around why they did what they did. And I'm really interested to see what they're going to argue this week. The thing is that I knew that if Oklahoma didn't win or if Texas didn't win, if one of them did win, you would have what you have now, which is, oh, shoot, looks like we're going to have an Alabama team with 2 losses and another SEC team with 2 losses. In this case, it's Oklahoma, who has the best schedule the rest of the way to be able to survive. Texas still has to play Texas A&M. And a 4th loss, it would be really funny to watch them try to spin that, but I could see them doing it. Yeah, but those 4 losses, look at who they lost to, just the cream of the crop. And by the way, would they refer to Texas as a 4-loss Texas team once that happened? A 4-loss Texas team? Ugh. No. But they talk about TCU having 4 losses now, one of which came to BYU at 44-13. It was a blowout. Here's what one of these sections says, too. Why they could be lower. Utah is the safety net for BYU because of the head-to-head. So if the Cougars were any lower, it would be because the committee kept 3-loss Texas in the mix, which is already hard to hear.
Which some people nationally would argue for.
You're going to see some folks doing that tomorrow. They're going to Cincinnati. Considering Utah already defeated Cincy 45-14, BYU will be expected to win in similar fashion. But the Bearcats will be looking to bounce back from back-to-back losses.
Again, what did I talk about earlier in the show?
Is a
BYU fan heard me say, how in the world would the committee ever justify putting a 1-loss BYU behind Utah at this point in time? Well, if BYU struggles at Cincinnati, still comes away with a win, what did Utah do to Cincinnati? They'll find a way to put them behind
But
Utah.
see, that's the thing. Going to Cincinnati and playing there.
They're not looking that deep.
But that's way different than going to Rice Eccles.
It is, but they're not looking that deep.
Yeah. All right. Utah at number 12 on this list. Here's what it says. The committee has a lot of respect for what they've seen from Utah, but the Utes lose the head-to-head tiebreaker with BYU. So, again, the comparison is only between Big 12 teams.
Exactly.
It's not about, hey, man, a 3-loss Texas team has no business being ahead of us.
They're not comparing the resume of BYU and Utah against the SEC and the Big 10 teams in front of them.
And can't help herself. Because Texas has 3 losses, though, it would be difficult for some committee members to rank the Longhorns above Utah or BYU. For some, how about for all of them? It needs to be tough for all of them. None of them should have Texas ahead of Utah or BYU after the 3 losses that they've taken to a 3-win Florida team. That's one of their losses, by the way. And that one by itself should put them far enough down that you don't talk about them. But Texas is a fraud. We saw it this weekend. 35-10 against Georgia was like not even that close, to be honest.
Right.
It was a bad game. And Sarkisian had no real response. So I think watching the college football playoff play out right now, it's still how many weeks left do we have of this thing? So you've got tomorrow, right?
2 games left for most teams.
2 games left plus conference weekend. So you're going to have on the 7th this thing roll out. So tomorrow, 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th final ranking. You've still got 4 full rankings that we're going to have to go to. And on that 4th one, we find out what the actual college football playoff rankings are. So there's still a lot of room for improvement, for teams that are being told you're going to have to just accept the fact that they're going to be in. A lot of those are not actually to a spot where they can be. I mean, there are just so many teams that are not good enough to be in this conversation. Now, here's a question that I had from somebody over the weekend. They said, "Yeah, but let's say a 1-loss BYU or let's say a 2-loss BYU team gets into the college football playoff. How would they have done against an 8-2 or a 10-2 Alabama team?" And that's hard to say. Well, they'd be right there with them. It's hard to say that.
Don't know. Have no idea.
I don't. That's why we play the games, right?
Yeah.
That's why you try to figure it out.
Let's find the teams that are good enough to play and put them together and find out. That's the whole damn point of what we're doing right now.
So instead of having these hypothetical conversations of,
that's not how you do this.
This conference isn't that good. They shouldn't be here.
What you do is you take the metrics and put them all together and figure out which team has the more impressive resume. You take the name of the team away, and then you compare the metrics, just the numbers. No team, no players, no coaches, just the metrics, just the numbers of what they've accomplished. That's how it should be done. That's how the committee should be doing it, not using the brand attached to it, because the brand skews your perception of those numbers. The brand skews everything because you think and want Alabama to be in it. But if you take the metrics, maybe they don't deserve to be in that 12. I think they got it right last year by not putting Alabama in. I'm sorry. They lost 3 games. They had bad losses. The Vanderbilt loss was bad.
Yep.
They did not deserve to get in. So that's how it should be done. But as we're learning, is that really how it's being done? I think with Notre Dame, that's a big one. You take Notre Dame's name away from what they're doing, and I'm going to give them some credit. You know, they beat Navy 49-10. They beat Pittsburgh 37-15 on the road. They're doing what their schedule has, but their schedule's not great. The strength of schedule should factor in here, but the metrics should help them. So I think that Notre Dame has a good case. I have no problem right now with Notre Dame being in the top 10 because of the fact that they've won so many straight games in a row and how they're dominating the opponents they're playing. Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing here? But you're not following those same rules with the SEC teams.
Right. Yep.
You're not. And that's where I have a problem with this.
So the SEC, how many SEC teams are ranked in the
5, right? So you're talking about how many
Yes.
SEC teams are currently in a position to be in the college football playoff.
By the way,
Texas A&M, Alabama would still be in there, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Georgia, Ole Miss, Oklahoma now replaces Texas.
Do you know how many teams they have in the top 25 AP poll?
How many?
Number 3, number 4, number 5, number 8, number 10, number 12, number 17, number 20, and number 23. They have 9 teams in the top 25 AP poll. Look, it's a strong conference, to be sure. But the losses that some of these teams have had, by the way, Texas included, is against none of those teams.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they lost to Georgia, who's definitely on the list.
Yeah,
number
that's
4.
one of the teams. But
okay, they lose to Florida, who's nowhere near mention of that. 5 teams in the Big Ten in the AP top 25. 4 Big 12 teams in the top 25. 3 ACC teams. There are 3 Power 6 conferences. There are 3 G6 conference people in the top 25. So that it's getting really awkward at that point too, right? Hey, is Tulane one of them, by the way? They are, right? Tulane's are they one of the ranked teams in the top 25? AP poll? Yeah, they're number 24. They're number 24.
They came in this week, yeah.
Think about how wild that is.
South Florida lost.
What's more impressive, what Bears doing with BYU or Jake Retzlaff just showing up at Tulane going, I'll play some games for you?
It's pretty wild. Give him credit.
They're both, I mean, right now, Bear Bachmeier is 9-1 as the starter for BYU, and Jake Retzlaff is 8-2 for Tulane. Those guys have won 17 games and lost 3 as the starter that they had no clue that they were for a team they were going to be starting for this year.
I think this is the first week we've had more than one Group of 5 team in the top 25.
It's
James
3.
Madison at 21,
Yep.
North Texas at 22, and Tulane at 24.
North Texas and James Madison are both 9-1.
Yes, they are.
By the way, that's crazy. That is bonkers. Does Miami have any kind of argument to be at 14 above Georgia Tech right now? They're 8-2. They have 2 losses. One of them came to. Who did it come to?
Miami has a 27-24 win over Notre Dame.
That's the reason that they're ranked so high is because the conspiracy theorists will tell you it's because to be able to make the Notre Dame argument, you got to make the Miami argument that they're better than they are.
Notre Dame's case relies heavily on Miami being good.
What's the rest of Miami's schedule? Yeah, that's interesting to me.
Well, it's in the ACC, so it's not going to be hard.
I know, but I'm just saying, like,
at Virginia Tech, who just hired James Franklin today to be their coach. But James Franklin,
he can't coach this week, so
not going to be there on the 22nd. And then at Pitt, who did not play well against Notre Dame, but wouldn't it be ironic if Pitt ends up beating Miami, which then weakens Notre Dame's resume?
Hilarious. Hey, Pitt, you had one job this weekend, but now you've got one job on Thanksgiving weekend.
It's not going to be enough to pull Notre Dame out of the playoff, though. Notre Dame's in. Sorry.
That's hard to hear.
I know.
Oh, okay.
I think they passed their final test.
The student athletes don't have to take tests anymore, JJ.
Oh, that's fair.
All right.
Unless Stanford can pull off a stunner on November 29th.
Could you imagine? Please.
It's at Stanford.
Okay. That's actually worse because no one goes to those
Wouldn't that be
games.
something?
They call it the library now. It's not the farm, it's the library.
Both are boring.
Terrible places to play. All right. We'll come back. More to go. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, everybody, welcome back. JJ and Alex, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. Let me ask you this. So obviously, jobs to be filled in the NFL. When I say jobs, there will be, of course. The Giants game, or the Giants job. Bill Belichick, after we were laughing about the possibility of him going back to New York and being a part of that, he came right out and said, hey, no, I am focused. We're on to North Carolina.
Oh, so he turned down the job. Okay. He turned down the job because
That's a great point.
He's committed to turning around the North Carolina
That's
program.
a great point because I don't think that he's been offered the gig.
No, but that's not what he's
okay.
going to say. Is
He says, I have not and will not pursue an open NFL job anywhere. I got to stay with this guy. I love the college game. You know me.
Because he already tried that and nobody wanted him.
I love the college game.
Yeah, he always has.
Love the college girls.
Loves
I'm
the
dating
kids.
one. Right? So there's that. My question is, Lane Kiffin has a shot to jump to the NFL again. Does he do it?
No. No way. I don't even know if Lane Kiffin makes the jump to Florida.
So Florida and now LSU. LSU is like pulling out all the stops.
LSU might be tempting.
LSU is a worse job than any.
Yeah, but every coach that's had that job, except for Brian Kelly, in the last 20 years has won a national championship, including Nick Saban.
You say every, like there's so many of them. There's three.
Well,
Saban,
they
Miles, Order on. Took my shirt off this weekend. Pretty cool. Anyway, hire me.
Hanging out with Matthew McConaughey without his shirts on, driving around in a Lincoln.
Let me ask you, like, could
that's a podcast
could
I'd
Ed
listen to.
Orgeron go back to LSU and do it again?
I'm sure he'd be happy to.
In an era of rehiring guys.
Those checks are nice.
Yeah, man.
Those LSU checks, man.
They're phenomenal. No, but it's wild to think that all these. I don't know what other coaches are going to lose their gigs at the end of the year.
In the NFL?
Yeah, Stefanski might.
Yeah, it's weird with Stefanski because none of it's his fault.
So Stefanski might.
Stefanski's a good coach. He took the Browns to the playoffs.
I know, but the NBA does this, the NFL does this. So like, he's a great coach, and then they're coach of the year one year, and then we fire him.
I think the Bengals probably end up firing their coach.
Zach Taylor.
Yeah,
gone.
Now,
how about?
I think the Dolphins coach is gone.
McDaniel.
Yep.
Gone. Okay.
The Titans already fired theirs.
Oh yeah, so Titans job, and
the jobs in the
Giants.
AFC West are safe. The Giants have already fired theirs. I don't think any of those jobs are in jeopardy. Same with the NFC North, the NFC South. Raheem Morris, 3-7 Falcons.
Ooh, they've had a rough go.
I love Raheem Morris, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, they just fired not that long ago Dan Quinn, right?
Right. Well, they've been through.
No, it wasn't Dan Quinn. Who was it?
Yeah, the guy that's now
that's
the
right.
coordinator at the Steelers.
Schottenhäuser.
Schottenhäuser.
Oh no, I'm talking about the the guy with the mustache. Arthur Blank. No, that's the owner.
That's the owner that looks like
Arthur
Weekend
Smith.
at Bernie's. Or like if Vincent Price and Weekend at Bernie's merged into one person,
that'd be that guy.
That would be the owner of the Atlanta Falcons.
We're all over the place with these coaches.
The Cardinals might fire their coach too. So
Cardinals could be
that's
yes.
a handful.
Right.
One.
So
2.
That's what I was going to ask.
3.
Might have the pickings of NFL or college game.
5, 6, maybe 7. Maybe 7 openings.
Oof. What's crazy is you think about during the last hiring cycle, the coaches that got fired or they got hired during the last hiring cycle. Ben Johnson, 7-3, right? Nobody's giving him kudos yet. Mike Vrabel, 9-2. The Jets Aaron Glenn. That could be another guy loses his job immediately.
We're year one.
Liam Cohen, struggle bus. And then
Cohen, they might make the playoffs.
And then Kellen Moore.
Nah, he's
TBD.
Fine. Year one.
Yeah.
It's a bad
TBD.
roster. They know that.
Yeah. All right. Just seeing. I was just
the
seeing.
Dolphins is an excuse. Like McDaniel's he's gonna get fired.
Who had the best weekend in the locals in the NFL, JJ?
Best locals in the NFL. Puka did good, but he didn't get in the end zone.
Had that fumble too.
You know what? I'd probably go with Jordan Love. His numbers weren't fantastic because he got hurt in the game. So he gets hurt and he comes back in. He finishes 13 of 24 for 174 yards, but his second touchdown was incredible. It's a great throw. It held off the Giants, and the Packers got a much-needed win. They're now ahead of the Lions in the standings. So I'd probably point toward Jordan Love. The biggest story for locals in the NFL right now, Cole Bishop, by the way, had a interception.
Phenomenal interception, by the way, if you missed it.
He's the only player in the NFL right now with 40-plus tackles, 2+ interceptions, and 2+ sacks.
He's a dog.
And Cody Barton's quietly having a great year with the Tennessee Titans. He had a monster game as well. 5 tackles, 1 sack. Tackle for loss, 3 pass breakups. But back to my...
If you're going to have a good year in Tennessee, by the way, it will be very quiet.
Nobody's going to know about it. The truth is, a lot of the best locals, there's a lot of guys that are banged up right now. So... Tyler Algier scored again this week, but he didn't have a monster game as far as the numbers go. Bobby Wagner's always solid, but Fred Warner's out for the year. Yeah. Jackson Dart has the concussion. There's a long list of guys. Jalen Warren got hurt this week. Hopefully it's not season ending. So there's just a number of local guys we follow that are banged up and hurt.
You know who it sucks to be right now? Honorable mention. One, Matt Gay gets released by the Commanders.
Yeah, Matt Gay just got released today, unfortunately. Missed a game winner over in Madrid.
That'll do it.
They lost that game, so.
Shedeur Sanders, poor guy, goes 4 for 16. You guys, 4 for 16.
I'm going to stand up for him a little bit here.
And then he throws the pick, of course, to end it, and he goes, but this is the worst part.
Rookie quarterback thrown into the game late in the game.
It's tough.
Didn't get the reps in practice.
Trying to against a phenomenal defense.
I'm going to give him I'm not going to throw him under the bus for that.
I will. 4 for 16, come on. But I feel bad, and I'm going to remove him from throwing him under the bus because his house was broken into while he was having that awful NFL debut. How's your NFL debut? It's not great, plus I got my house broken into. That's a bad Sunday, my guy. So, thoughts and prayers to Shedeur this weekend. All right, we'll take a break. Before we do, Hans and Scotty are going to be noon to 3 at Tim Daly Nissan Southtown this Wednesday for your Cougar preview show. 11155 South, Jordan Gateway in South Jordan. Tim Daly, home of the Forever Warranty. And also, you don't want to miss it because tomorrow they're going to be out at the Grill, 2264 South Main Street in Nephi. Go check them out. Go eat some burgers. And then say hello to the fellas down there. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more to go. We've got our best and worst next. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Best and worst brought to you by the Doug Smith family of dealerships in American Fork, Spanish Fork, and in Linden. Nobody knows cars like Doug. All right, the best is LeBron going to make his is he going to make his return against Utah Jazz tomorrow night? He's back practicing. What did he have? He had something it's kind of an older person. Was it osteo?
Now, you can get away with this cuz you have sciatica.
Yes.
He has sciatica.
Oh.
It is the most old player injury in the NBA. Maybe gastric distress.
Osteoporosis, like I said.
Osteoporosis. Can you imagine that? Remember when, was it Coach Pop showed the injury report or something, and he said Tim Duncan was out with being old?
Oh, wow.
When was that?
Yeah.
That was funny.
Well, at least he didn't.
Old age or something?
Yeah, this is one of those. But does he come back to play versus the Jazz? It's in Los Angeles, though. Perfect time to do it.
I think
if you're going to come back and have a game, it's usually against the Jazz.
That'd be fun.
Lakers guys coming back having games that they want to have a banner night on. Utah Jazz. Remember Kobe dropping 60 on the Jazz his final game? Oh, wow! How did he do it? LeBron comes back, takes the back brace off, comes in, scores 32.
LeBron James has overcome sciatica. Just the latest accomplishment in his Hall of Fame career.
I do want to see what the newest version of his hairline is going to be this year, like what that spray paint situation looks like. Have you seen Jaylen Brown's hair getting wiped off on everybody's jersey, by the way? It's so sad. That poor guy.
Yeah.
They're all, you're a pro.
Carlos Boozer as a guy. They need to go call his guy.
I know. They're like, you're a pro. Why don't you use just shoe polish? It'd be great. Again, I'm bald, so I can comment on these things. You guys aren't allowed.
Well, I think we need to talk
Kent
to Just for Men about sponsoring a segment.
And then
all
the worst
the players
is,
in pro sports that need Just for Men.
Yeah. And then the worst, of course, is BYU coming up short against UConn in that game in Boston. But by the way, I mean, they were down 15 most of the game.
Oh yeah,
and
felt like they were down 20.
The last 4.5 minutes, AJ DeBonta hits a couple big threes. Richie hits a three. I think Dawson Baker. No, Richie came in and missed all the threes. Sorry. Dawson Baker comes in, hits a three, and they get that thing within a point or two, and then
they got it down to 2. They got it down to 2 and lost by 2.
So that game was going on right.
Outscored them 52-43 in the second half.
Yeah, it was right before the BYU football game, and so I sit down on my media seat, and they had the basketball game up on the TV. And I'll tell you, that place was – you can say what you will about that team. By the way, they went down 2 spots in the AP poll. I thought they'd stick around just kind of right where they're at. You lose to number 3 UConn in Boston.
Seems kind of like a harsh punishment there. They lost by 2.
I was like, they're not gonna move very much in that AP poll because the AP poll is not like the basketball or the football AP poll.
Right.
It's like, man, they played the number 3 team in the country across the country, and those things like count for a lot. Like they go, dude, that's an awesome game. But anyway, the whole booth up there was going bonkers watching AJ DeBonta do his thing, man. That guy is legit. That guy's legit.
25 points. Yeah, he is. Fun to watch.
We'll come back. More to go. 97.5 EKSL Sports Zone.